Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz, Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson, Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober, Thiago Santos versus Alexander Wreckage, and it is just the main card. So, hello everyone, you are listening to However podcast, and today we are going to talk about UFC 259. So, this card is stacked from top to bottom. Prelims are great, and the main card is superb, and three title fights are already there on this card. So, you can just see the anticipation growing every single day for this card, and it is happening this Saturday, and if you're in India you'll be able to see that on Sunday morning. So pretty pumped about this fight card. I know that I have few favorite fighters that are already performing on this particular card, so just pump up and just ready to go. So today we are going to go through some of the prelim fights and then talk about the main card. I have some bets going on these cards and on these fights. So what are the stats, what are the odds, and what are the predictions, actually my predictions for this fight card. Alright, so let's talk about the prelims first, and then we'll move up to the main card. So in the prelims there are 4 fights. So Kai Kara France, who comes from the New Zealand City Kickboxing gym back in Auckland, and he's fighting Rogerio Bontorin. The fight is in the flyweight division. I think Kai Kara France last time when he fought, it was on the Fight Island on the same card of Adesanya and Paulo Costa. He lost that fight to Brandon Royval, I think, yes. And I don't know, Kai Kara France is minus 141, so he's a favorite in this fight. But I think the pressure Rogerio Bontorin brings to the table, I think I've seen Kai Kara France. If the things doesn't go his plan, if he couldn't get the knockouts, he might lose that sense of fighting, and that he sometimes just pulls himself away from the fight. But I think this would be a testament for his training and where he is right now in the mental space. He is a new father to a boy, so I think this would be a good fight to watch out for, and also a good fight and a responsibility now for Kai Kara France to rise up to the occasion. The second fight is being the Joseph Benavidez against Askarov. Man, I think Joseph Benavidez has been in this game for so long, and he last fought against the champion Davison Figueiredo, where he fought Debot for 2 times, and both the time Benavidez got, one time he got KO'd and the other time he got choked out, and he actually slept and he didn't tap. So I think this is his underdog, Joseph Benavidez. This is pretty big fight for his career. I don't know, until that Figueiredo is a champ, I don't think Benavidez can beat him. So this would decide whether he wants to continue. I think if he loses this fight, I probably see him setting into the sunset. But I think it's an important fight in his career. If he has 1 or 2 fights left, this would be Askarov would be the opponent. And Askarov is not that right now, not that big favorite. He's minus 134 right now, but this is again subject to change, and I think Joseph Benavidez can get it done. So the other fight I want to talk to you about in the prelims is going to be my favorite fight in the prelims forever. This is Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kenny. Alright, so Casey Kenny has been in the news lately. Last 1 or 2 months back, he made some comments when he was on Sugar Sean O'Malley's podcast or Sugar Show or Timbo Sugar Show, whatever it is. So he made some comments against Megan Anderson, who's facing Amanda Nunes on the same card for the featherweight championship, women featherweight championship. And I think Casey Kenny got into the limelight, and now he is facing Dominic Cruz, who's the former champion of the bantamweight champion and one of the best bantamweights in the UFC's history. So I think great test for Casey Kenny, and extremely important fight for Dominic Cruz, because I think Dom though he's been out for so long, and he's one of those guys like who's cursed with the injuries, man. He was so good on the feet and also on his grappling abilities that he couldn't, just because of the hurt. He often got hurt. He had those injuries. He couldn't train well. He always went in the fights broken, and something was bad with his health. Maybe he had some broken toes, broken legs, broken arms, and whatever the injuries he had faced. So I think that it restricted his performance a bit while his time there as on the top of the heap, and he is on the top of the heap. His last fight was against Henry Cejudo. I think he definitely got knocked out in that fight, but I think Henry Cejudo is a world champion, man. He has proved that within his back and forth jump from the flyweight to the bantamweight. So I think Dom and Casey Kenny, Dom being an underdog in this one, and Casey Kenny is coming off of like 3 to 4 fights winning streak. So I think good test again for Casey Kenny, and if he wants to prove that he can go with the big dogs there in the bantamweight, I think this man out there in front of him, Dominic Cruz, would be the best that he could ever ask for. And I think this Dominic Cruz is the biggest challenge that Casey Kenny has ever fought. So I'm not sure if Dominic Cruz thinks the same way, and if he still has that old dog, that WCW or WEC mindset in his arsenal as of now. So let's move back to the main card, guys. This is one of the craziest main cards ever put in 2021 or 2019 as well. So 3 title fights and 5 champions of different weight divisions. So Amanda Nunes is 2 weight division champion, Israel Adesanya, Petr Yan, and then again it's Jan Blachowicz. So oh man, this is going to be crazy. So let's talk about first fight in the prelims is Thiago Santos versus Alexander Wreckage. Alexander Wreckage is coming off that great victory, sort of a decisive victory over Anthony Smith. Thiago Santos is coming off of 2 losses back to back, one being with the John Jones, where he hurt his knee and he had to be out for at least 1 year, and then the last one was against Glover Teixeira, where he got knocked out, I think. So I think and knocked out in the way like he got knocked out or choked out. I think he got choked out by Glover, and he got Glover in a big trouble. He almost got him knocked out, but I think Glover showing that class of him and reinventing himself. So this is an important fight for Thiago Santos to be able to maintain his position, to maintain his stature in the light heavyweight division rather. And Alexander Wreckage, I think Alexander Wreckage could be the next champion if he beats Thiago. I think he'll probably get one fight if the things doesn't go too bad in the coming fight between Adesanya and Yan. So I think Alexander Wreckage, if he beats Thiago, or if he gets past Thiago Santos, he can beat, or he can actually face 1 or 2. So that would be Glover Teixeira, or it could be somebody of the likes of maybe the winner of Dominic Reyes and Prohaska. So I think this is an important fight for Alexander Wreckage, and I think Thiago Santos needs to dig down and think, since this is only the 3-round fights, and he hasn't been in the 3-round fight for almost I think 3 years or 2 years. So he can pace himself up. He can look for that opening hook, for that kick to the body where he disrupts so much people and he breaks so many people down. So I think this is one of the important fights for both of these gentlemen. Now, Islam Makhachev and Drew Dober. I don't think why people. I don't know why people are not giving Drew Dober chances against Islam Makhachev. Just based on the pure wrestling, Islam will beat Drew Dober every single day. But I think, man, Drew Dober can crack you. He's a strong, sharp individual. He's good on the feet. Islam is not particularly. So I've not seen, and we have not seen him in a while now. So not sure if he's that's great on the feet. But I think Drew Dober has chances in that first round, and since this is a 3-round fight, I think Islam Makhachev would be looking to close the distance, take him down in the first round to be impressive, so that he can get to those top 10 positions as soon as possible. But I think Drew Dober has a chances in the first round. The only thing I think is that Islam is minus 335 favorite, and these are the betting odds, and Drew Dober is plus 250. So I think it's like East and West. So it's like East and West. So I think I think the chances are pretty less, but just considering the fact that Islam Makhachev can get in a trouble early if Drew Dober lands one of his kicks and the punches and the boxing combinations. He's a good boxer, so I think this could be pretty bad for Islam. But I think once it gets past 3 minutes in the first round, and if Drew Dober not able to capitalize and he couldn't close the distance and land those few shots, I think it would be a beatdown, like a bully beatdown for Drew Dober. So I think I'll go with the Islam Makhachev on this one if he went past 3 minutes in the first round. Now the next fight is actually the bantamweight title that is on the line. Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. Oh man, this is a long coming for Aljamain Sterling, man. This guy deserves a title shot. I was so furious when they went with Aldo on this one. I think Aljamain Sterling has all the rights to be mad about, but I think this is how UFC brass functions, and I think this is how UFC puts on the fight. They try to put on the fight, and I think it's good for both of these gentlemen, because now there's no they eventually have to fight now, and I think everything will be answered on Saturday. So Petr Yan, the champion, the bantamweight champion, current bantamweight champion, versus the number one contender Aljamain Sterling. How could you not give it to Aljamain Sterling the way he beat the Sandman, the Enter the Sandman, Cody Sandhagen? So it's one of those things where, look how impressive Sandman or the Cody Sandhagen looks now. He had 2 back-to-back knockouts, and look at how Aljamain Sterling beat him within 2 minutes. So that is how this whole thing comes and plays up. And Petr Yan is a legit champion, but I've not seen Petr Yan on the ground, on the back. I've not seen him. I've seen him not even taking people down. I've seen him cracking people with his punches, with his legs, dropping them down and then beating on them, and that ground and pound, and mostly the punches. So I think this would be absolutely amazing fight. I think this will go 5 rounds. I don't think Aljamain Sterling can make a absolutely, he cannot make a mistake of getting into the legs and catching some knee or some sort of like a elbow or something to be knocked out. But this is a 5-round fight. I think this will go 5 rounds. This would be a dog fight. This would be a beat down for both of these gentlemen. One would be definitely, I think on the decisions, I think this could also be this could have that potential of actually having the 3 back-to-back fights, like rematches and other stuff. So this is an amazing fight. I think Aljamain Sterling, even if he not getting the victory or not winning on the decision, he could get a rematch right away. So I don't know, man. This is a crazy fight. I think Aljamain Sterling can submit him. Petr Yan can KO him. So I'm going to go just with my favorite. I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling, Aljo on this one. And I think he might get it done. He's a minus 110. Both of these are minus 110 favorite. So it's equal. It's totally equal fight. It's totally neutral right now, and let's see who takes the trophy with him on that day. All right, women's. This is women's featherweight title is also on the line. Amanda Nunes is coming back after the last fight she had on. She beat in the featherweight division. She had that last fight against Felicia Spencer. Tough lady, but I think Amanda Nunes is best female fighter who has ever lived on the planet, on the face of the planet Earth, and she's taking on Megan Anderson. Alright, so I think Megan Anderson, though she was pretty hyped up when she got into the UFC, and the first challenge she faced was Holly Holmes, and I don't know, man. I think Megan Anderson can utilize her leg kicks, and if she can keep Amanda at the bay, can keep Amanda at the distance, and maybe probably use her long arms, use her long legs, the limbs. The limbs utilization is one of the things in the MMA. So if she can do that, she can probably take this up. I don't see her winning. I seriously don't see her winning this match, but I can see her, and this is the last fight, so I can see her giving Amanda some troubles in the first 2 rounds. But Amanda is a dog, man. She's been here for so long, and she has faced, in last 4 or 5 years, she has faced nothing but the title fight, so she knows the experience of getting into the 5 rounds. I think Megan Anderson only got into the 5 rounds, I think, once, not even in the championship round. So I think this would be a good solid thing, good solid fight for the Amanda Nunes fans and for the Megan Anderson fans. But I think at the end, Amanda Nunes can do so much. She can submit her. She can do a heel hook. She can crack her. It's just going to be the height difference and the reach difference in the first one or two maybe like one or two rounds. But after that, I think Amanda Nunes will eventually keep up the pace, and she doesn't get she knows. And I've seen Megan Anderson getting tired after second round and third round. So this would be a good test for Megan Anderson. And if she can, I'll look at the betting odds actually, and I'm just going to complete that. But if she can win this match, I think she will be regarded as one of the biggest come from behind biggest underdog victories of all time. I think that would be my on. And look at the betting odds here. Amanda Nunes is -1250 favorite, and Megan Anderson is +750 underdog. Would you believe this? I've never seen stats like this before. Never seen the odds like this before in my life. Oh man, this is crazy. This is crazy how MMA maths work, but you don't know until you are watching those fights and you are the fighter that's fighting that fight. So hats off to the betting odds, betting makers, odd makers. Alright, so the last and the final fight on this card is Yan Blachowicz, the Polish power, versus Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is the middleweight champion of the UFC, one of the rising stars of the MMA, of the UFC, and I think one of the biggest stars right now coming out of New Zealand and Asia Pacific region. Whereas Yan Blachowicz recently got the belt, light heavyweight belt. He is the first champion after I think a decade long this layoff of John Jones or Daniel Cormier being the champion. So I mean, amazing performance, great performance on the same card against the Adesanya and Paulo Costa. So he beat Dominic Reyes via knockout. So I think this is amazingly well put fight now. Now, one thing I think people are missing out on is giving Adesanya. Adesanya is the favorite in the fight, so giving him props like he is fast, his agility and his speed would be the difference. I think this is good, but when you're facing somebody who's been considered, who actually calls himself the Polish power, it is for the reason, right? So Israel Adesanya faced Paulo Costa, but Paulo Costa cuts a lot of weight. So when he cuts a lot of weight, so Paulo Costa or Jan Blachowicz could be the same size on the fight night, but Paulo Costa fights at 185, so he cuts a lot of weight. Now what happens? You drain yourself. You drain yourself out of all the water that is there, and you cut weight, right? So it leads to your it actually impacts your performance in a negative way. So I think that is one thing. Plus, Jan Blachowicz is naturally bigger and a stronger guy. Look at the size of his quads. Look at the size of his thighs. And one reason that I think why Adesanya will win this match, he will do the same thing he did with Paulo Costa. Take your legs off, and when there's an opening, go for the counter. That is the one thing he will do, and I assure you that this fight will not go 5 rounds. This fight will be 2 or 3 rounds, maximum 3 rounds, and I would feel that it would be just the compilation and the continuous kicking of that leg or chopping of that front leg for the Blachowicz, and I think that would cripple him. That would make him lose the weight balance, and that will eventually help Adesanya go for the head or go for the body, and there will be so many leg kicks being thrown. I think Jan Blachowicz will eventually go for the same route. He will try to throw those leg kicks, maybe get the feet out of Adesanya. But Adesanya's ability to check the kicks, to move back, is amazing. So my prediction for this fight now is Israel Adesanya winning this fight within 2 or 3 rounds. It could be TKO. It could also be leg kicks, and that's just a compilation of that. So not going to go distance, guys. I don't think so. But if there would be something crazy that has to happen in this fight, it would be a knockout, and it would be a punch knockout from Jan Blachowicz. And one thing I want to add, Jan Blachowicz will or can shoot for takedown in the first round. He wants to tire Adesanya up so that in the second or third round, whenever Adesanya comes back or they regroup and they fight, he has a leverage of exhausting Adesanya so that he doesn't move that quickly. So I think he probably can, with the very first start of the bell, he can go for those legs, and he can go shoot for the single or a double leg, because he's powerful. He can close the distance, and he can take few shots from Adesanya. So I think this was all about UFC 259. We will come back again and talk about the next card, which is coming on this same month of the March, which is UFC 260. That is going to be Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou, and we have another fight on that card, and that fight actually is Brian Ortega versus Alexander Volkanovski. So amazingly well put fight card from the UFC. All the kudos to all the fighters out there risking their lives and giving us the full-on entertainment. So I shall see you next time, guys. Keep buzzing me, keep tuning into the channel, support this group, support this podcast, build this podcast, and I think we are on the track of becoming the first podcast in India to be talking about MMA so much that we do. So thank you, everyone. I shall see you next time.